Has the Reaper buff actually made him totally insane and you must play him in every single game because he's now completely awesome? Well, let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I am Stylosa. So, Reaper is everywhere. He's in a lot of games recently, and I'm going to show you guys some statistics. But before we do that, and we're also going to talk about Reaper and how he fits into the meta right now, and how he actually is pretty strong, this is the Reaper buff. I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but there was a buff before this. Remember the shotgun buff, where they changed the spread pattern to make it more predictable. This means you hit more shots as Reaper more predictably. You've got less random spread on the pellets, so in theory, if you've got the aim, you will do more damage anyway. So that was the first buff Reaper got. Reaper also got buffs as well to his Shadow Step in the past. However, this is the big one, right? The 30% to 50% lifesteal, which means he heals himself 20% more than he used to, so he's now super effective at staying in fights for a very long time. I mean, he was before, but now he's just crazy. We've also got this as well, haven't we? This is the armor nerf. Now, the interesting thing with this is this increases Reaper's DPS. So without causing a critical hit, Reaper now straight up does 14.2% more damage to armor, and on critical shots or critical hits, he now does 22% more damage. So this is a lot of buffs. This is for Reaper. A lot of things all adding up to make Reaper much stronger. So then we get this. This is the competitive pick rate of Reaper from Overbuff in January. Look at that. It's a month worth of data. You can see on January the 24th, this is when the Reaper buff came in. Suddenly, his pick rate shoots up. Now, there are reasons for this other than just, oh my god, Reaper is amazing. Things like, oh, the hero has been buffed, let's try him. So you've got people picking up the hero and playing him. You've got people like me playing him in games, which typically I don't really play that much Reaper. However, that adds up to the statistics, doesn't it? It makes it appear like Reaper is actually being picked way more, so maybe he's super OP. Who knows? Well, the thing is, you have to take these statistics with a little bit of a pinch of salt, but the fact is Reaper is stronger. It's a fact. It's statistically proven. He is better in every single way than he was before the 24th of January, where the two combined hits to Reaper, well, not really hits, two buffs hit him, the reduction in armor's power, and the increase in his lifesteal. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go into a game. This is me playing Reaper. I don't know what SR this is. It's somewhere in Mass. It's a placement game. We're on Rialto. Now, the big thing here is Reaper effective? What's Reaper good at? How do you play this Reaper? Well, you kind of have to be pretty sneaky. You have to sort of hide around corners, wait for people to engage you, you engage them. You know you can take a lot of 1v1s with this Reaper. That's the big thing with it. And he's also really good at detecting Sombra, as you'll see in a second. Of course, because of his spread. Also, D.Va is really good at that. If you ever play D.Va and there's a Sombra on the enemy team, you should probably spray everywhere at any downtime just to try and detect us. So our team comp here isn't necessarily the best. We've got a Hammond and we're trying to hold this choke. It's not ideal. The enemy team are also using a Hammond though, so it's a bit weird, this sort of team comp, and they've got a Sombra. As you can see, I detected the Sombra there because I knew she was around here somewhere. I also catch her a bit later on in this video, and it's absolutely sickening. But what is the thing with this Reaper, right? What is he capable of doing that he wasn't able to do before, and why suddenly is everybody looking towards him as the big tank buster, the guy who's here to break up goats, the guy who's going to smash the meta? Well, it's because he's super tanky now when he's doing damage. If you're not doing damage, you're not that tanky. He can also deal with tanks because he can get into a position where it's very difficult for the enemy to dislodge the Reaper. But that's the problem, and that's always going to be the problem with Reaper. Remember, Jeff Goodman on the forums recently did actually say that maybe they'll look at Shadow Step in the future, but it's not something they're specifically looking at right now because they've been trying to take him in a direction where Reaper is this sort of, you can flank the enemy with your Shadow Step, and then you get in, you get the drop on them, you do massive damage sort of thing to them. The thing is, it's quite difficult to do that because a lot of the time you will get detected. I remember there was a game I played in earlier on today where I tried to do this on King's Row Attack, and I don't actually have the recording of this, unfortunately. You guys just have to take my word for it. But I tried to sneak around the side on King's Row Attack, and it didn't work, and Anna just put me to sleep, and they just, well, they teabagged me, killed me, and then they were quite abusive to me in the chat because it was, haha, we've killed Stylosa, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Anyway, who cares? So here, I'm on a dirty little flank, aren't I? Look at this. It's super close to going in here. I've got my ultimate nearly, trying to do as much damage as I can. Now, to be fair, I think I kind of wasted my ultimate there. That's definitely a waste there by Anna, but I guess we were securing it. No, we won the fight. That's unlucky, but everybody panics, so it's like, hey, whatever. The big thing now is we know the enemy are coming onto us, so we're going to have to get ready for this. We're going to have to prepare for this, and we don't really have anything to really answer it with. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get into a cheeky position. I'm just going to wait. When they engage on our team, I'm going to then engage them. Because as the Reaper, by the way, that was the Sombra. And you know what? That Sombra is probably like, what the hell? This guy is hacking. Because I just, you know when you just have a feeling? I was like, there's a Sombra there. So I just shot the Sombra. I remembered like, oh yeah, she hacked the health pack. So she's probably there, right? Let's go. Anyway, yeah, right. So let's go back to the Reaper. Let's focus on the Reaper and the play and how he is better. And you should probably look at picking this Reaper up. However, he is quite map dependent. I'm going to straight up say that. Rialto, first point. I don't mind seeing a Reaper there. Rialto, second point. It could still be okay. A third point, it could still be okay. Second point might be a little bit iffy. But then when you look at other maps, if you look at maps like Junkertown, Reaper is not going to be very good on that map throughout most of the map. You could argue second phase of the map, he could be okay. And then if you look at maps like Numbani, Reaper is probably going to find it quite difficult on defense and on attack, unless you can somehow flank the enemy team and get into a really dodgy position and do a lot of damage. Now, a thing I've been seeing a lot is, like, you can see me here, like, I'm just waiting. I'm like, this is not how I would play any other hero in the game. I can get into this position, so I'm waiting. Didn't really do too much to the Ana. By the way, did you see that massive FPS drop? I have no idea what caused that. I think it was something to do with the effects and the abilities that were being used at the time there. So weird that was. But anyway, the Reaper is stronger. You should really consider playing the Reaper, but only in areas where you can play with your team and you can bash into the enemy team. In terms of comps that the Reaper's super strong against, it's like he's pretty much strong against anything if he gets into the fight. Because when he's in the fight, I mean, look at that. You see the healing I was doing to myself there as I was just blasting away into the D.Va? I mean, a lot of people now are saying D.Va is just a ult bot for Reaper. So, hey, when you see the Reaper, you just walk up to her and blast her. Same for Roadhog, right? Same for Reinhardt. It's just really effective to play Reaper right now, but only if you can get in there as the Reaper. If you can't get into the fight, then you will start feeding, and you'll feed quite heavily. That's why I wanted to touch on map-specific meta, because I think this is a way Overwatch will ultimately end up going, and it kind of is right now. I hope that we see more of that when it comes to Overwatch League, where certain maps have certain metas. Now, Reaper is not just a go-to pick. You can't just pick Reaper, roll him in every map. There'll be people out there that try and do it, and sometimes it might be successful. The issue is, Reaper is really going to suffer if there's anywhere with a lot of open ground. If he has to, you know, get into the enemy team by just, like, brainlessly running in the open, he's not going to be able to do that. He's going to take a lot of chip damage, and that is Reaper's biggest weakness. He tends to get poked down at range before he gets into a fight. But here on Rialto, look at this. I'm getting a ton of value here because I walked around the side. They didn't bother to protect that side or check it. I can just walk up and kill people. Yeah, I'm taking a lot of damage, but also I'm actually doing a ton of damage here. And that's just the way you play this Reaper. And I think that's always going to be the way. What I would like to say, though, to end this video is you really need to think about selecting other heroes. You can't just roll the Reaper non-stop. Here again, this is a good example of taking a forward position, waiting for the enemy to drop, and then just dropping onto them. But it's very map specific, yeah? If I was trying to do this on Numbani, it's just not going to work probably on first point. Definitely not on second point, because there's just so much stuff going on all over the place that you're probably going to get caught out in the open. In that case, you probably want to look at other DPS. Maybe you want to play an Ashe, a Soldier, or something. Ashe is actually particularly quite strong now. Reaper is, like I said, super map dependent, but super, super strong. Now, let's just finish the video on this. Is he OP? This is the big one. Like, a lot of people are going, well, yeah, he's super OP. I know that at some levels of the game, he is just mega strong. Like, he walks around with impunity, just killing everybody. And I know that can be really annoying to play against. I found at the levels I've been playing him at, I haven't really played him at GM, because honestly, I'm not good enough to play DPS at GPM. DPS at GPM. GM DPS right now, because no. Tanking, yeah, but not DPS. But at this level, I still feel like I'm quite effective, even though I'm not that good at Reaper. Also, massive shout out to my team there, keeping me alive. So I'm going to put the question over to you guys. What do you think? Do you think this is a good or bad buff for Reaper? Because I feel like it does help Reaper. Is he a super must pick? Is he going to define the meta? Well, I think he is going to change the meta. Obviously, the super tanky heavy comps are not a super easy option anymore, but Is it enough? Like, are we going to see Reaper at the pro level? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. If you guys enjoyed the video, then let me know what you think about the video in the comments below. And, of course, you can follow me on Twitter, which is at Stylosa, not at Unit Lost Gaming anymore. Hey! And I'm also on Instagram, which is at Stylosa on Instagram as well. Stylosa, no, Instagram.com/Stylosa. Check it out. Oh, baby. And by the way, that's a beautiful play of the game there by that Hanzo. All right, guys, I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. Toodaloo. Oh, and do remember to subscribe and hit the bell so you get alerted to when videos go live. Toodaloo.